This is Daniela Camboni for Kitco News, and we have a brand new edition of For Pete's Sake on this beautiful Monday. Peter Hug is joining me as always. Peter, thank you so much for being with me.
You're welcome, Daniela.
So it's a beautiful day here. I understand it's a holiday in Montreal, so thank you so much for coming out.
You're welcome. It's a holiday right across Canada, but because we have a large U.S. client base and a European client base, we always stay open when those markets are open.
All right, Peter. So let's talk about our conversation last week where you mentioned to me that gold might just hit $1,600. That's exactly what we saw last Friday. What gave you that insight?
Well, I was watching the dollar. It had been up for 8 days in a row against the euro. Gold got down to major support at 15.27 and silver got down to 26.75 where it's supported last year. And with an 8-day movement that way, you'd expect some profit taking. And when gold got back up over 15.50, it just accelerated and touched 1,600 on Friday by the close.
All right, so let's talk about what you expect for this week. Big meeting happening in Europe Wednesday, the debate over Eurobonds. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this week's a little trickier. They're holding a Euro summit on Wednesday, and most of the Europeans want to engage Germany in considering issuing Eurobonds to create more liquidity in that market. The Germans are still hesitant. So this meeting on Wednesday is going to set the stage for where these markets are going to go over the next 2 weeks. I suggest that the market probably won't be short ahead of the meeting. There'll be some volatility going through the end of today and tomorrow, but then the market will wait for news and then and then take action according to what comes out of the Euro summit.
But if Germany's still hesitant, then what, Peter?
Well, I think Germany needs to agree on the Eurobond. It seems to be a foregone conclusion that Greece is going to leave the euro. It's really a matter of how they do it and how cleanly that comes about. In the interim, the uncertainty is causing weakness in the European stock markets, and it's flowing over to the U.S. stock markets, which is negative for the metals. Any resolution on the European front, even from a perspective of just a potential solution that they can all agree to, would be very price positive for the metals.
You know, when I was speaking to Vince Lancey last week over at FMX Connect, he really summed it up well. He said it's really whether Greece will be fired or laid off. What do you think about those comments?
Well, I agree. I think the Europeans would like Greece outside of the euro, but they want to do it in such a way to mitigate the damage to countries such as Spain or Portugal. So they want them out. How to get them out cleanly is really the debate that's going on now.
So, Peter, what's weighing more on gold now, would you say? Is it the U.S. dollar or the Eurozone issues?
No, I think it's the U.S. dollar. I think you're having issues with, obviously, equity weakness both in Europe and in the United States, which causes people to run to cash. Metals are very liquid, and they've been selling their metals to generate cash. But money's been flowing into the U.S. dollar, creating weakness in the oil market and the commodity complex in general. I think if there is a somewhat satisfactory response coming out of Europe on Wednesday, some of the short covering in the euro will materialize, and that again would be price positive for the metals in the short term.
Okay, Peter, final thoughts for investors watching this week.
Final thoughts. Watch the dollar. As long as the dollar stays strong, the metals are going to have trouble getting over 16.25, which would be my resistance level. If the euros gets back over 130, I think gold might push higher and get into the mid-1600s by the end of the week.
So you'll be watching that EU summit closely on Wednesday, Peter?
Absolutely. That's primary, and that's up front to the markets right now.
All right, Peter, don't work too hard on your holiday.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
And thanks for watching this edition of For Pete's Sake. We'll be back next week. If you have any comments or questions, you can email us both at newsfeedback@kitco.com.